Okay, hi everybody, it's Dale from IGN Southeast Asia, and today I'm with a very special guest. It's Su Ling. So please introduce yourself and what you're up to.
Hi everyone, my name is Su Ling Chan. I am the English voice actor for Bailu in Honkai Star Rail.
Woo! At the time of recording, the game just came out, so...
Yep, the game just launched today, so woo, excited.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so how did you become a voice actress?
Oh, well, I'm a huge geek. I like pop culture. I love anime. Grew up with anime, manga, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Mutiara Naga, Dragon Quest, Slam Dunk, then Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy VII. So I've always had a keen interest in voice acting. So way back then, and I'm probably giving my age. In 1999, 1998, I remember telling my mom, I want to be a voice talent or a voice actor. And she was like, oh, maybe we can try with commercials. So then I went and started doing some commercials, did a couple of jobs like way back when DG used to be sponsored by Poetic Ammo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did like some DG commercials. I also did some Hotlink commercials because they always want to sound young.
Yes.
And at that time I was like 16 years old, so I had like that.
So that was all you.
Yeah, I had a teen voice and everything. And then I moved to the States for a bit. So when I was like about 15 to roughly around 20 plus, and then I came back. So I kind of stopped all the voiceover jobs.
Yeah.
And then I came back in 2008, and that's when I decided, okay, I want to try to do this. And then I saw an audition from Facebook, I think. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was on Facebook. And it was so dodgy because like this dude says, I'm looking for voice talent for the next big cartoon, and it was like in his apartment, in his closet. Anas, if you're hearing this, and I'm talking, which Anas I'm talking about, it is the Anas from Monster.
There we go.
Which is Bubba Boy. So I remember going for an audition. It started off there, and then they had space in Cyberjaya, and then we started recording in their merchandise closet. Yeah, like this was like in 2009. And so then there was a lot of animation that was coming out in Malaysia. So like, Bola Kampung, Bobo Boy, Ipin, Saladin. So I was like in a lot of them. And I was also doing a lot of commercials. And that's kind of how I started.
Nice. So how did you go from all that to video games?
So I was actually in Malaysia's first video game. It is this video game called Hoodwink.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if anyone knows. It was in 2012.
Okay.
2011, 2012. It was produced by E1. And I think it was like Malaysia's first like big funded video game by MDEC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think you can still find trailers of it on YouTube or
we gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's called Hoodwink. The gameplay is not very good. So how I got that gig was I was in Saladin, and then the director remembered me and he was like, hey, do you want to be in this video game? I said, sure, okay. And then I auditioned for it and he's like, yeah, okay, you got the role. So then I recorded it, and technically that was my first foray into video games, right? And then we didn't really have a lot of video games in Malaysia, so it's like a whole lull until I think about 2018, and there was a Facebook post by Metronomic.
Again with the Facebook.
Again, Facebook. That's where you get all the jobs, right? And they said they were looking for voice actors, so I sent an email, and they gave me a time slot, and then I went to the auditions, and then I was like, hey you. He's like, hey you. Turns out I knew Dime from a job I did in 2013, of which I didn't even, they were trying to do this animation called Sansastra, which you can find it on YouTube way back then with Meg Laloon. the
Oh.
famous Malaysian background artist.
All right.
He's very famous for Makoto, having a very Makoto Shinkai Southeast Asian style. Yeah, so they did it. And I remember a friend of a friend said, "Hey, I have this buddy named Daim who wants to do this. I know you're a voice actor, but they can't really pay much, but they'll buy you sushi." I was like, "Okay, yeah, you." You got me, sure. 2012, right? 2013, sushi expensive.
Yeah.
So for the price of a sushi dinner, me and Stephen Bones acted in this like trailer that they were going to pitch for an MDEC.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think a lot of things happened from there. But
Okay.
then the team that was working on Sansastra eventually became metronomic. So in a very
Wow.
long about way, when I turned up to the auditions, because it was in person, I was like, "Yo!" And he was like, "You!" And so we had already worked together. I mean, not that affected like his decision to cast me
Yeah.
and Steven. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe we liked working together. I don't know. But it was just very funny. It was almost like a
Destiny.
like Destiny. It was like pre-NSR.
Steven by
With
your
Steven. Exactly. Steven and me in Sansastra.
Yeah.
And then we were in NSR.
Yeah.
So with the same director and the same writer. It was ID and Daim and Haz and Steven and Su Ling. So that was, to be honest, that I would say that would be like my first
Proper.
genuine proper video game. Not that Hoodwink wasn't, it was a proper thing as well,
Yeah.
but the game didn't really go anywhere. It was supposed to be episodic, but
Oh.
after episode 1, it didn't go anywhere. So it just
Okay.
full stop.
All right, nice. All right, now from NSR
Mm-hmm.
to HSR.
NSR to HSR. I like that.
So in between, like what happened?
Well, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
You know how we recorded? So we recorded NSR from the auditions were 2018, and then I got the part mid 2018, and from 2018 all the way until early 2020, because the game was released in August, we were working on NSR.
Yeah.
And then, well, early 2020, you know what happened.
Yeah.
COVID. But in a way, COVID was probably the best thing to ever happen for my voice career. In every other facets of my life, it wasn't very good. But in terms of my voice acting career, it was really the best thing that ever happened. Because
Yeah.
remember, we had the MCO,
Yeah.
right? So the MCO forced us to stay at home for like, what, 12 weeks? 15 weeks?
I don't know, I lost track.
Yeah, I lost track. 12, 15 weeks of just staying at home.
That's when we had our first interview.
Yes,
Like, online.
Online, because it was so like bored, or like, you know, there was nothing to do, and
Yeah.
everything was, it was a really scary time. All the studios were closed, you know. I had to get a remote set up really quickly. So I had a USB mic, I had like a bunch of clothes in a closet,
Yeah.
and I just put stuff there. And so because the pandemic hit, and then because I had this like sort of remote setup,
Yeah.
because also remember that year Raya, no one could shoot anything.
Yeah.
So every Raya ad was an animation.
Yeah.
So, hey, you've been voicing in Bobo Boy and Bola Kampung and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so that Raya, because I mean, I do Malay commercials, but it's not like my bread and butter. I mean,
Yeah.
I can do them. And so suddenly I'm like the talent that was called for most of the Raya commercials. I was like, wow, okay, first time ever. So I had that set up already. And then I started looking on Twitter and on Discord at international jobs, remote jobs. And then I started auditioning from there, and I started working my way from like indie, and then studio work, and then got my way to Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, in 2020.
Nice. Along the way, you also did your first anime dubbing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of firsts, you know, like I had my English anime debut.
Yeah.
Because technically I've done it in Malay. I was in the 2000s Cardcaptor Sakura Malay dub.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did the Malay dubs back then. Yeah. You know,
Nice.
because I knew somebody in the studio, and then I was accompanying them, and they say, hey, do you want to do some lines? And I was like, sure, okay. So I was in, so I've done some Malay anime dubs
Nice.
before. So this was technically my first English
Ah.
dub. and it was for Kageki Shoujo.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then subsequently after that, I booked Showtime, which is another anime. But anime currently right now prefers to be in person because Crunchyroll bought over Funimation, and they have like a very nice studio setup in Texas. So they prefer to use in-studio talent, I mean, with their facilities and stuff. So it's been kind of, I mean, not to say the opportunity hasn't been there, but it's kind of just a bit closed off for now, for at least anime. But I think mobile games are still remote friendly, commercials are still remote friendly, audiobooks are still remote friendly. So there's a lot of things. Animation is also supposedly remote friendly. I haven't really booked the animation yet, but I've heard that it's quite remote friendly. Yeah, so just not anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bailu.
Yes.
How do you get in character? Like, do you have a lot of similarities, you think?
Yeah, I think me and Bailu are quite similar. Like, if I had to like really think about how I based the character off. Yeah, so I had like some inspirations when I did the auditions, and I still maintain those inspirations.
Nice.
And one of the big inspirations is basically, are you into Batman?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I love Batman. Actually, I really like the Robins. I think Batman's boring. I like the Robins way better because they're interesting. They're more interesting. So I literally, when I read the audition sites, and I was like, this is like a female Damian Wayne.
Oh wow!
So I literally based Bailu on Damian Wayne.
Wow! Of all characters,
I don't know what about the audition copy was very Damian Wayne-ish. But I remember printing out the audition and making my notes and trying to figure out what kind of voice and what kind of character I want to give her. And just Damian Wayne kept coming out. Damian Wayne, it's like, he's very proper and
assassinate.
Assassinate. I guess she does assassinate a bunch of people in her trailer.
There we go.
And then revive them again. So I guess that's where it comes from. So I know they seem like completely different characters, but in my head, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm gonna put some Damian Wayne inside her. And like that snark. You know how he's really snarky and dry and all that? So that's kind of where Bailu is. And there's also another character that I drew a lot of inspiration from. This is a bit closer to home, but she's really kind of like Ying from Bobo Boy.
Oh, there we go.
If you know how Ying is with the whole Bobo Boy crew, she's like the one that is quite smart, street smart, and not necessarily book smart, because that's Yaya. And she's just more like the tough girl, and she's the one that bosses everybody. And she's always telling Bobo Boy, like, she's always scolding Bobo Boy because she always
we all have that friend.
Yeah, you all have that friend. So, and she's very like snarky to Bobo Boy, and she's like, oh, she's always like that. So I'm like, that side of Bailu I put into, that side of Ying I put into Bailu. And yeah, so those would be my two biggest inspirations for Bailu.
Yeah, that's
Damian
really cool.
Wayne and Ying from Bobo Boy.
That's like the headline already.
I know, like completely obscure like references.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, Damian Wayne. I said, yes, I know it sounds really strange, but in my head, I'm Damian Wayne.
Did you do like a similar process to find like Mayday's voice in No Straight Roads?
Oh, Mayday.
Yeah.
Mayday. Mayday is a bit of an interesting one.
Okay.
Because to be honest, at that time in 2018, right, all my body of work, has always been using a very neutral American accent. You don't really go very local. Yeah, so it was very difficult to act in a very local manner without it resorting to Manglish. It's very easy to act Manglish like, hey, what's this?
Just fall into it.
Yeah, you just fall in like, oh, what's this going on lah? It's very easy because, you end up being the butt of the joke usually with that kind of accent. Like, the Pachukang and that kind of stuff. Your Uncle Roger. I mean, he's funny, but it's for comedy, and I mean, Mayday's funny, but she's not meant to be like the butt of the joke. So to find that voice and to find that what's the word? Like, you know, the balance between having a authentic Malaysian accent without resorting to Manglish while still being legible was quite a struggle.
Yeah.
So me and the voice director, Daim, we had to go through several iterations. And he wanted her to be tough, but wanted her to be charming and quirky and all that kind of stuff, while not sounding too Malaysian, but sounding Malaysian enough, not sounding too American, but a little bit of American. So it was like, wow. So it took us quite a while, but I think what we had and what we came up with is something that both of us are very happy about. And I'm very happy that I'm able to give that Malaysian accent out to the world. I get lots of people telling me they love the way I say Pluto. Pluto.
Just that one word.
That one word, you know, because they're like, it's just so quirky. Because I guess the Malaysian accent is quite quirky, you know. So they're like, the way you say when she says Pluto, it's just like, but it's just Malaysian lah.
Yeah,
you don't say Pluto.
Yeah,
you
no.
say oh yeah lah, Pluto.
That T.
Yeah, that T, right? You know? So, but it took a lot of hard work.
Okay.
But I'm very happy to say that now that if I had to do a Malaysian accent, not for Mayday, but for other characters, which I've actually booked before.
Yeah.
Like I've used this accent in The Captain is Dead, which is a video game for the science officer.
Yeah.
And a couple of other video games where I've had the indie video games mostly, like with the Malaysian accent. You know,
Chinatown Detective
yes,
Agency?
Chinatown Detective Agency, exactly. Although technically there's more Singaporean now.
True.
Got difference, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. You know, we orang Malaysia say McD, you know, McDonald. Singaporeans say McDonald. I'm sorry. You know, there's a clear difference between Malaysian, which is, kita pergi McD lah, McDonald, versus, let's go McDonald. Yeah, I want to go to McDonald. Yeah, I want one Big Mac. Big Mac.
Wow, that cadence, yeah. Wow.
It's Singapore. I know, no one's ever gonna give me any word from Singapore anymore.
Not anymore. So, Kageki Shoujo.
Yes.
So that was a dub.
Yes, that was a dub.
So do you have to base it on the original Japanese?
Yes.
Oh wow, how's that like?
So how it works is that the studio, which is Sound Cadence, they give you a link with a connectivity program. The one we use is called Source Connect now.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's many. There's like Connection Open, there is Session Link Pro, there's a lot. But basically, you go through your web browser and then you click through it, and then the studio is able to pull the sound instantly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, through the software. Yeah, so when you're recording, they take your whatever your sound is through the software, and already they're able to put it into Pro Tools.
Okay.
Yeah, instant.
Instant.
Yeah, instant.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. So what we usually do is we have Source Connect now open to record the audio, and then the video will look at it through Zoom.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so there is a bit of a delay, but if you follow the timing of the video, then the audio file would match.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because there won't be a delay on the audio.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I really have to tabib the engineers lah. You know, really salute the engineers because they had to do double their work to get all this remote, because it's so easy to do it in studio.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to do through Zoom. There's no delay. There's no this. There's no that. But you know, I mean, when COVID shut down all the studios, everyone had to work remote regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, not even just in Malaysia, but in the US as well, because a lot of actors were not comfortable coming in studio at the height of COVID. Because if you get COVID, it can really affect your
voice, right?
Your voice. Yeah.
Okay, nice. What would you say is the biggest difference between recording for video games and animation?
Okay. I think, so there's a script. First of all, no, serious. The animation, the scripts are in a Word document written in a script style. So you know they will have like INT, interior, cafeteria,
like a proper
blah, blah,
script,
blah. Yeah, and then EXT, exterior, jungle, whatever, and then the description of what's what's happening in the character, and then character and name and
Yeah.
and the lines, and then you get to read everybody's lines. Depending on the video game, like some video games I've recorded, you only get your lines. So you don't have any context on what's happening,
Right.
where you are, what you're looking at. So then the director becomes very important because it's their job to give you the context of what is happening with your line. Sometimes there is a column there that says, this is what the line is in reference to.
Yeah.
And the reason why they do it is because sometimes some video games don't have scenes. Like when you're talking like Ultimates, there's no scene. It's just like, time for your prescription! or you know, rules are meant to be broken. Like, you know, there's no
Contextless,
There's
yeah.
no script.
Yeah.
It's bleh. It's just say out your ultimate line. Or I'm dying. I'm dead. Like, you know, it's all these like battle, so that's why a lot of developers prefer Excel sheet. And because sometimes there's no script, like you go to an NPC, you trigger the NPC to say something to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no dialogue that's happening at there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yo, dude, you want some pals? Like, you know, like, yeah. So sometimes when I read my HSR scripts, I sometimes have no idea what is the context of the line. I mean, it just gives like in the side column, they usually have like, oh, this is for NPC dialogue, or this is that, and this is this. But then it's really the director's job is very important to give you the context of, okay, where is this NPC?
Right.
Are they in the market? Is it night? Are you being shady? Are you being like, is it daytime in a market or is it nighttime in a market too? It's the difference between a, hey, would you like some pals? Or, hey there, want some pals? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Are you being shady or are you like really trying to sell shit in the market? So that would be the biggest difference.
Okay.
Yeah, and whereas animation is a script. It doesn't exist as just lines.
Right.
It's always in a context of a script. It's always in a context of a story. Video games, not so much.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. You definitely get cutscenes. You definitely have some stories. But then like, where does rules are meant to be broken? Yeah, you know, where does that fit in? That's why they prefer to have it in Excel sheet.
Right. Any lines of Bailu that kind of stand out for you?
Well, ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time for your prescription. I love that. That's like my favorite line.
Nice.
Yeah. And then she throws a gourd and then it hits people's heads. But don't worry, it heals you. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh yeah, so yeah, stuff like that. Do they show you the animations first or?
Yes, the Ultimate had animation. By the time I was recording the Ultimates, that had animation, but the other stuff, no.
Not even storyboards or whatever?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's like, here's the character.
Here's the character. Okay, let's have light attack, medium attack, heavy attack. Then you do, right? Yeah. And then, okay, I think it's gonna be, we're not sure, so we'll just give a punch and then we'll do a kick. And then I saw the final version, oh, it's a kick. It's a small little kick.
Oh.
So cute. She like kicks and then her tail like swishes. So yeah, no, some of it, yes, we do get to see the animation. Some of it, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has the reception been online after your announcement? You know, it came out that you're gonna be Bailu. So.
I think because the game is launching today, so it's not like there yet. When I first announced during the live stream, because I think Dawe and Bamboo were giving like a live stream special announcement, and then they introduced some of the English voice actors, and I was like, hey, that's me, that's me. I announced after that because like, there's no point. Like, I was in the live stream, like, hello. So I was like, okay, I guess it's time to announce it. You know, because I mean, sometimes we actors, we sign NDAs.
Yes.
So we have to be very careful when we can announce. But they said that once actually we were in the live stream, we can announce already.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hi, I'm Su Ling. It was in the live stream, so I guess that's a big giveaway. But don't worry, I checked and they said, yeah, it's fine. So when I announced, it was pretty good. Pretty good reception, mostly from a lot of my voice acting colleagues and friends and peers, and then some Honkai Star Rail and Genshin and Honkai fans. But I think it hasn't really set in yet. But yesterday, when I made the announcement that I was going to be at the Honkai Star Rail official launch event, like I suddenly got like 1,000 followers overnight. Overnight. I like made the announcement like in the morning of yesterday, and then when I like within 24 hours, I had like 1,000 followers. So I think it's
snowballing.
It's snowballing. I think it's hitting. I think it's coming. It hasn't come yet, but I think it will eventually.
We'll provide an update when the video comes out.
What
number it is now.
What number it is on Twitter. Oh, and then you know my Honkai, my launch event announcement, you know how I opened it? Selamat pagi, Trailblazers! You know that's what reference that's from, right? Nichijo?
Oh, wow.
Selamat pagi! Selamat pagi!
Whenever you can, right?
And some people know, like some people ask, is that Nichijo? I'm like, yes, it is. I couldn't help it because like the event company asked me to announce it the day before the game launches, obviously, because if not, it'd be drowned. And then when I announced it, it was morning. It was pagi. So I just had to do it.
You had to take a chance.
I had to do it. Selamat pagi.
Okay, what about future roles? Like, what can we look forward to? Is there anything that you're allowed to say?
No. But I will say that I want to be in more mobile games.
Okay,
Yeah, because I play a lot of mobile games. So I play mostly a lot of console games. So I think I'm sure you're gonna ask dream roles eventually at one point, right?
Let's do it now.
Let's do it now, right? So I mean, biggest dream role for me would be obviously the Mass Effect series. I'm in love with the Mass Effect series. I played the original trilogy like 12 times.
Oh wow.
From start to finish, like from Mass Effect 1 to 3.
Nice.
So like, and I played through all the job classes, except for Soldier, because that's boring. And I played through all the genders. I romance everybody there is to romance in Mass Effect. I mean, with 12 playthroughs, you can romance a lot of people.
Go crazy.
Go crazy, right? So I would love to be in the Mass Effect universe at some point. If not, Dragon Age is also something I would like to be in. I just like BioWare, you know? I really, really, really like BioWare. It's like my favorite games. But right now, I'm playing a lot of mobile games. So like, I'm playing stuff like Cookie Run Kingdom, Tower of Fantasy, Nikkei,
there we go.
Path to Nowhere. So you know, I would like to be in these games eventually, like all these mobile games. But if I had to do a wish list, and this is entirely like a personal wish list, is to really be into Path to Nowhere. Because I love that game. That game is so good. It's one of my favorite mobile games right now because the graphics are really nice. The voice acting is really good. Especially in English. The English voice acting is really, really good. The music's really good. And the gameplay is really fun. It's like tower defense, but quite unique. I would say a unique style of tower defense. Maybe I don't play enough tower defense games, but I like the gameplay of Path to Nowhere. And all the characters in Path to Nowhere are very, very interesting. So it would be like a dream right now, personal dream of mine to be like in Path to Nowhere. And obviously I would like to be in Genshin. I don't think who wouldn't, right? I don't think any voice actor would be like, no, I don't want to be in Genshin. I mean, yeah, some people won't, but you know, I would eventually like to, you know, get over to Devyat.
All right, step by step.
Step by step.
Yeah, you gotta be the Michelle Yeoh of video game voice acting.
I want to be the Michelle Yeoh of video game voice acting. That would be nice.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Exactly.
Nice. What would be your advice for voicing NPCs?
Like from what perspective, sorry?
Yeah, how do you sound like an NPC? As opposed to sounding like a main character.
Oh, you know, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And I think it's about studying the medium. You gotta really study a lot of video games. And then you will notice that there is a specific way that NPCs kind of sound.
Yes.
And I don't really know if I have any advice on that, but it's just really studying the way they sound, because at the end of the day, NPCs have a role.
Yeah.
Right? It's unlike animation. So going back to what's the difference between animation and video games.
Yeah.
Now, animation characters have a role to give you in a story perspective, right? Like they're the friend, they're the mentor, they're the bully, they're the rival, they're the mirror, or they're the antagonist, blah, 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 blah. But it's from a story perspective. Video games are completely different in the sense like, yeah, it can be in a story perspective, but it is from the perspective of gameplay.
Yes.
And in relation to you as the player or protagonist, right? So what is the NPC's role here? Is it to get help so you'll do a mission? Is it to sell you stuff so you waste money on upgrading?
Yeah.
Is it to upgrade your equipment, potion seller, potion maker, quest giver, story enhancer, to give you background information to a specific story so that you know what to do. So it's about figuring out what is your NPC role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very functional.
It's very functional. So video game voice acting can be kind of functional because at the end of the day, your voice lines are there, your character is there to further the gameplay. So the big question when voicing NPCs is, what's your role in the game? What's your role in the game? What are you supposed to do there? Are you supposed to be the side quest giver?
Yeah.
Are you like the catalyst for the main quest storyline? Yeah, and then you'll know how to voice act. Yeah,
Wow.
because like if you were the catalyst of a main quest, there will probably be some gravity to your lines because you're the start of it all, Versus if you were like a background character and you're selling potions, you're important, but you're not that important. You're there for the player to replenish his potions.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you're there for flavor, lagi you are not that important. I have seen like auditions or like sites where they said that you are specifically a flavor NPC, and so therefore we don't want you to have a distinguished voice or a distinguished accent, so that you blend in. So
Okay.
But if you're a main quest giver, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't blend in. You have to when you're running around, you have some random child saying, here, over here, Yeah, they do that so that, you don't get lost and you're like, oh, okay, my ear hears that, and then I go. Versus, I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
Even though that's been played too many times, it became a meme. But I took an arrow to a knee guy was supposed to be blended background character. But well, we all know how that went.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right. What about like action sounds? I mean, because we all know you do martial arts as well.
Yeah.
Like, does that help in the recording?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. But again, it goes back to genre.
Okay.
So, in my Honkai Star Rail, when I first recorded the battle scenes, they were like, oh, it sounds good. But can we make it cuter?
Cute.
Because you kind of sound like you're in Street Fighter and Tekken right now. I'm like, oh. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because Bailu is not Chun-Li, okay?
Yeah.
Right? Or she's not like Nina.
Yeah.
Right? She doesn't sound like Nina. So again, it goes back to the genre of the video game and stuff like that. So I think the martial arts definitely helps because you have experience on how it feels like to get hurt. Like I do jiu-jitsu, I've done Muay Thai, I've done judo, I've done boxing.
Yes.
And so I've hit people and I've definitely gotten punched before. So I know what it feels like. Yeah. And I think if you've never been punched before, you will not get that sound, or maybe not. Or if you've never fallen before from a judo throw, you won't know that there's a heaviness and there's the impact.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably figure it out, but
it's not the same.
It's all fun in games until you get punched in the face. And I've been punched in the face before. I mean, like just the other day, I covered it with makeup, but there is a shiner over here from my partner who elbowed me in, in the temple. I think you can I tried hiding it, but yeah, but it's here.
You did a good job hiding it.
Yeah, but I had it here for a while. Like, ooh, I was like, yeah.
So you use that to fuel your performance.
I do. And sometimes, I was doing a live action dub and I was explaining to the director and the engineer who are not mixed martial arts people, whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I completely know what this move is. Okay, she's doing a jab here, then she has a hook, and then after that she does a hip throw, judo hip throw, and then it goes to the ground, then she does a triangle choke, and she's using her legs to do the triangle choke, and then she's successful, the guy passes out. Yeah. I know this action scene. I can even name the like specific
moves.
Specific moves.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in games it's not that realistic, but when I do for live action dubs, I'm like, yo, I know exactly what's going on. I was like, ooh, that is a nice hip throw, you know? That's, ooh, nice ogoshi. Ooh, yeah, you know? Or sumigai shit, like all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, ooh, nice armbar. You know, you know, so definitely my martial arts background definitely comes in handy for live action dubs and stuff like that. And the director was like, oh, that's great. You know exactly what the moves are. So I assume you can voice them correctly. Yes, I can.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is your final advice for voice actors in Southeast Asia? Like, how would you recommend them get their start and whatnot?
Ooh, okay. I think my biggest advice is that it's just don't give up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here right now and like, wow, I'm in Honkai Star Rail, I'm in a playable character, I have an LA agent, I have all these things. But I think a lot of people don't realize, like, when I first started pursuing this in 2020, like remote work, I didn't book anything from August to December. I even auditioned for unpaid work.
Oh wow.
And this was after No Straight Roads, Boy. You know, I had a huge body of work, you know, but I didn't book anything. It was a combination of a couple of things. One was I didn't really have a good home studio. So it wasn't good enough. With a USB and clothes and like burung outside. You know, that was one. And number two was that I didn't really know the international market sound that well, because like I've only acted in Southeast Asian market, and there is a specific sound here that, you know, the international market is not so used to. So, you know, it took me a while to get A, my home studio fixed, and B, also to recognize and emulate and get that international sound. And when I fixed those two, by January of 2021, I was already booking stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think is really don't give up. You know, study the market, study the genre that you want to be in. If you really want to be in mobile games, play mobile games. You want to be in AAA video games, play more AAA video games. You want to be in anime, stop listening to it in Japanese. Listen to it in English. Unless you want to act in Japanese, then by all means, listen to it in Japanese. I have met so many people who tell me, I want to be in anime. Have you ever watched anime in English? No. Okay, good luck. You know, you gotta study. Knowledge is power. So one is don't give up, and number two is really study the market. Know what that sound is and what the sound that they're looking for, and then just practice.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. Not gonna
pays
lie.
off.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even know if it pays off. I just got lucky, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, whoa.
The stars align.
Yeah.
The star rail.
The stars align, and now I'm on the star rail. You know, but yeah, so you never know. Your big break could be right around the corner. You just don't give up and keep practicing and just keep studying.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This was great. Yeah, very insightful and very hopeful. Yeah, any final words from Bailu?
Oh, well, the generic, may this journey lead us starward.